Welcome. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to do user input in Java. So let's get started. We've got three learning goals for today. The first is that you can explain the purpose of a Java import statement. The second is that you can create and use a scanner object. And finally, you need to be able to identify and use the scanner methods, including nextLine, nextInt, nextBoolean, and nextDouble. In order to write interesting and useful Java programs, we need to have a way to get user input. For example, on the right, you can see that we're asking the user to enter their name and their age. How you gather user input varies from programming language to programming language, but in Java, we use a scanner variable to collect user input. In order to use a scanner in Java, we must import the scanner class. Import statements in general are going to go at the very top of your code, and what they do is they allow you to add tools to your program. In this case, we're adding the ability to use a scanner. At the beginning of the import statement, we see java.util. Java.util is a package, and packages are used to group code into a folder for easy use. There are several things in the java.util package, and one of them is the scanner class. Now that we've imported our scanner at the top of our code, we can create scanner variables, and I do that in the line you see highlighted. The variable I create is called input, and it is of type scanner as opposed to int or double or char or string. So we make a variable scanner input and set it equal to a new scanner. At the end, you see we say system.in, and system.in specifies that the user is going to be typing the input. It turns out that scanners can read input from a variety of sources. System.in is just one of them. Scanners can scan information out of a file. They could even connect to a website and scan data from somewhere out on the internet. Once we've created our scanner variable, we can begin asking the user for input. And so the highlighted line shows how we would ask the user to enter their name. Notice we make a variable string name and set it equal to input.nextLine. Input.nextLine waits for the user to enter a string value, and whatever they enter will get stored in the name variable. It's important to note that the word input here is not an accident. I'm using the word input because that's what we named our scanner variable. If we named our scanner variable avocado, we would be saying avocado.nextLine. Just as nextLine waits for the user to enter a string value, nextInt will wait for the user to enter an integer value. The code on the left highlights all the scanner methods that you will be using in this course. NextLine for strings, nextInt for ints, nextBoolean for booleans, and nextDouble for doubles. There is a scanner method for all of the primitive types as well as for strings. Time for an understanding check. And for this one, I want you to think about something that we haven't mentioned. So for number one, suppose that a scanner is asking me to enter an int like my age, but instead the user types a word like cat. What will happen? And then for number two, suppose a scanner is asking for a word, but the user types an int. What will happen? So pause the video, think about your answers to these questions, and then we'll talk about it. For number one, we wanted the user to type an age, but I've had my user type ABC here instead. And you can see the result. The program actually crashes. Java says that there's an input mismatch exception. And basically what that means is that Java was expecting a number, it got a string, and it was not sure how to turn ABC into a number. So the program just can't continue and crashes. However, in the case of number two, the program actually can handle this. We were expecting the user to type a name, but they typed the number 125. But numbers can be strings. We can look at 125 as a numerical value, or we could look at 125 as the symbol 1 followed by the symbol 2 followed by the symbol 5. And so we don't get a crash in this case. However, the name value will be set to the string 125. Now that you've watched this lesson, you should be able to explain the purpose of a Java import statement, create and use a scanner object, and also be able to use the scanner methods nextLine, nextInt, nextBoolean, and nextDouble.